And go.
In the 1980s, how does a white coach lead a group of black kids and a group of white kids who hate each other to victory and overcome their differences? How does a man lead a group of rebellious juvenile delinquents who knew nothing but drugs and poverty and turn them into successful members of society? These men, Herman Boone and Sean Porter, were coaches who you might remember being depicted in the films Gridiron Gang and Remember the Titans, that were both biographical films. How did this happen? These two men were coaches. They broke the racial, cultural, economic, and personal barriers to lead themselves and their players to success. Both these movies show the important role that coaches play with their players on their team. That being said, I believe it's important to incorporate sports coaching techniques and styles into your everyday life. Imagine yourself as a shift leader. Your shift is about to begin, and you head in for the shift leader's pre-shift meeting to give your assignments to your team. Your decisions on how and where you place your team is critical to the shift's success and employee morale. Knowing how to organize, plan, and be ready for any obstacle is the perfect example of what coaches do every day. Coaches understand their players' strengths and weaknesses, and how to make them work as a team regardless. If you can't imagine that, imagine yourself as an average Joe or Jane. You have a busy home, work, and personal life. Your friends are asking you to hang out, your family needs you, and you only have a few days off to see them and your family. How you manage and organize your time is critical to your happiness and the health of your relationships. Coaches are trained to find that balance and have good time management. They also have to manage their own personal lives and the lives of their players. I myself have coached basketball for 3 years and fencing for 2 years. After having done that, I found that coaches are more than just what sport they teach. They are responsible for the passing on of life skills and incorporating those skills into the sports they teach. They're able to make the right decision under pressure, and they have good methods that they rely on to pass on these skills that they teach, as well as good decision making. Knowing the methods that coaches use to incorporate these life skills and making good decisions can help you in many areas of life. Coaches have to take advantage of teachable moments. These moments are key to incorporating life skills during practices and games. Good teamwork, discipline, and organization are the 3 key life skills that are important on and off the court. Every company wants their team to work like that well-oiled machine, but it's way more obvious in sports. If your team is not one unit and your players don't play as a team, they're going to fall apart. And you can see this all the time in the NFL, the NBA, and even the Major League Baseball. The coaches are that center of the teamwork, discipline, and organization of their team. The players look to that coach for more than just guidance. They want that leadership. They rely on their coach to teach them how to improve their weaknesses. And how the coach acts in the field will follow that player when he or she gets home, and it will also impact how he or she makes decisions on and off that court. The coaches have to become more than the sport they teach. They have to be the model of what they want and whom they want their players to be or play as. They have to create the opportunities for growth both on the practice field and in the games. The players look to that coach for their guidance and acceptance, and the coach must provide both and teach players to look for their team members for support and to make the team work fluently. I don't know if anyone has ever been to a basketball or football game or even seen it on TV. But if you have, I want you to think back to the game that you watched, because sports are thrilling, suspenseful, and super fast-paced. Being a coach means you have to be ready to think on your feet. And organization and good decision-making is a key to being a good and effective coach. It starts on the practice field, and it ends when you leave the state championship, hopefully with your trophy. The coaches need to prepare their team and themselves to overcome any and every challenge. The coach's game plan is so critical to winning game and becoming a good team. The NFL is the perfect example for this. Because if you think back to when you saw the players snap the ball and they see the defensive line line up and then they decide to change the play, that play that the offensive coach chose at that point may not have been the best play, and they might have to change it up. Now, the coach doesn't get offended, And it's not a major deal because on the practice, gone over the plays multiple times with his team. And they have 2 or 3 backup plays ready for any new situation that occurs. But that is the trust that the players have and that they have to rely on their coach on and off the practice field. They also look to their team members for that support and guidance. That is where the well-oiled machine mechanic comes in handy. Your team has to have discipline and carry the life skills you've modeled in practice. They have to look to each other for support and rely on each other to win the game. And coaches have mastered this process of teaching their players to work as a team and to have a good and effective game plan and good organizational skills. They have taught discipline and order. You can too. Knowing the methods that coaches use can help you overcome any obstacle in both everyday life and in the workplace. It's really important to lead by example, to be ready to lead by example and to teach others. Having any kind of pre-knowledge and ways to lead, teach, or be a good team player helps in everyday life. Having organization will help you not just on the sports field, but within your family life, managing time with your friends, and being an employee or manager at work. And good decision-making skills will make your life easier no matter how big or small the decision may be, and it plays a major role with organization. Effective coaches teach life skills. They know how to create a game plan, and they can teach decision-making skills to others. An effective coach is able to make good decisions quickly, and they can pass that skill on to his or her athletes. These will help these players and you in your everyday life. I believe it's important to incorporate sports coaching techniques and styles into your everyday life, and I encourage you to research coaches like Sean Porter and Herman Boone and read about them, watch the movie, and try to see how they incorporated these methods that I talked to you about today into their coaching. And you might find that you too could learn these skills and employ them, and help others.
Wow. Well done.
Perfect.
Well done.